When Splatoon 3 got revealed in February this year, a job listing popped up that got everybody to believe that Splatoon 3 would be seeing stages from the previous two games, like what we did see in Splatoon 2, where we did see Splatoon 1 stages return, because in that job listing, one of the requirements was to rework existing stages. So yeah, that is what everybody believed, including myself. But I have been thinking about this a little bit more. I have been having conversations with Rosini as well on Twitter. We pretty much share the same sort of feeling. I am starting to doubt whether we will see old stages in Splatoon 3, because we know that Splatoon 3 is not set in Inkopolis, it is set in the Splatlands, which is far away from Inkopolis. We know that from the official description given out by Nintendo of the Splatlands area that we did see in the reveal trailer. How would Nintendo explain old stages coming back when we are in a completely different area? I guess one way they could do it is they could say that you would travel back on the train that we did see in the reveal trailer. You would travel back on that train to Inkopolis. If that is what Nintendo will be going with, if that is how Nintendo are going to explain old stages coming back, then maybe only the stages with train tracks of some sort in them will be coming back. So in Splatoon 2 Snapper Canal, you can see the train going over the track at the start of a match. The Reef has a sort of like a tram sort of system, so they could sort of explain the Reef coming back in that sort of way. In Splatoon 1, in Bluefin Depot, you can see a train in that stage as well. And Urchin Underpass, you are sort of underneath a train track. So yeah, those four stages could be likely candidates to return in Splatoon 3 if Nintendo wants to explain old stages coming back from the previous two games in the series by you going on the train. Maybe that is how they will explain old stages returning in Splatoon 3. So based on that theory, those four stages could be the more likely ones to return in Splatoon 3. But I'm going to throw in two more into the mix. The two extra ones are Murray Towers and Urchin Underpass that were featured in Smash Bros. Ultimate and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. For a lot of people, Splatoon is represented by those two stages. A lot more people have picked up Smash Bros. Ultimate, like almost 8 million more people have picked up Smash Bros. Ultimate compared to Splatoon 2. A lot more compared to the first game. And when you look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a lot of people have bought that game. It is the best selling game on the Switch. A lot of those people will associate Splatoon with Urchin Underpass thanks to it being a battle stage in that game. So it makes sense in terms of cross promotion to try and get those people who did pick up Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Smash Bros. Ultimate who didn't pick up Splatoon 2 to pick up Splatoon 3. And maybe if you did include those two stages, maybe you might get some of those people who did pick up those two games to move over and pick up Splatoon 3. So that is what I think Nintendo might think about in terms of that situation. They might think about that in terms of a cross-promotional sort of thing that they could do. I feel like they might want to use the popularity of Smash and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to promote Splatoon 3, and the best way to do it is to include Murray Towers and Urchin Underpass in Splatoon 3. I'm going to be honest and say that if old stages are going to return in Splatoon 3, then I want them to look a little bit different and maybe play a little bit different as well. They should definitely have a chaos sort of theme to them, where maybe the stages are a little bit destroyed. Maybe in Snapper Canal the river has dried up a little bit. Maybe they could do that on every stage to represent the chaos theme in the game. Although I don't really want every stage in Splatoon 3 to look like a desert. I really want there to be some sort of variety with the stages in the multiplayer in Splatoon 3. And I'm not even sure lore wise what the state of Inkopolis is at the moment, like with the events of Splatoon 3, whether Inkopolis is alright or not. But yeah, if old stages are going to return, then yeah, I want them to look a little bit different to what we know them to look like from the previous 2 games, just to add a little bit of variety into the game. Instead of you just playing on the same stages that you know, they would look a little bit different to make them feel sort of new stages. But I would rather see new stages based on the concepts what we know at the moment. So instead of Arowana Mall coming back, I would rather see a mall sort of stage set in the Splatlands. The same with the skate park like stage, instead of Black Belly Skate Park coming back, although I really do love that stage. I think it would be really cool if we did see like a skate park stage set in the Splatlands, and you get to see like a bunch of sand on the stage, and we get to see like that sort of version of that sort of concept of a stage in Splatoon 3 set in the Splatlands, instead of just bringing back old stages. I would rather see new ideas based on the same concepts they have done before. So yeah, I would rather see new stages based on the ideas they have already used in the previous 2 games, rather than stages from the previous 2 games coming back to Splatoon 3. But I know that might be a little bit controversial. Maybe the job listing was just pretty much referring to the person who does get that job to rework new stages already made for Splatoon 3, but Nintendo wants this new person to rework those new stages in Splatoon 3, and it's not them bringing back old stages from the previous 2 games. But yeah, if there are going to be old stages returning, then these are the stages I want them to bring back. I'd rather see more new stages than old stages, but if I had to say what stages I wanted to come back from Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 1, these are the stages I would pick to return in Splatoon 3. So if they aren't going to change how the stages are going to look, then I don't really feel like there should be many stages from the second game going over to the third game, because it is available. Splatoon 2 is available on the Switch, so if you want to play those stages, then there is Splatoon 2 available easily for people to play. So I feel like Splatoon 2 stages should be a minimum in the third game. I have picked my 3 favourite stages, and they are the Reef, Sturgeon Shipyard and Humpback Pump Track. I really do like those stages. They are really good fun to play Turf War on. And yeah, for some ranked modes you might say, oh, those stages are a little bit rubbish, but I really do love close quarters action. I love to have fast paced games. I don't really like stages with a lot of area to them, because I basically am a shooter main. I am pretty much an NZAP sort of splatter shot main, and those sort of stages don't really go well with me. So something like maybe Skipper Pavilion or Wahoo World wouldn't really suit my sort of playstyle. Sort of like Gobi Arena as well in Turf War, that is a little bit tricky for me, for my sort of playstyle. So yeah, the Reef, Sturgeon Shipyard and Humpback Pump Track are my candidates to return in Splatoon 3 if old stages are going to come back in this brand new game. I am going to contradict myself a little bit here and say that I really want to see Walleye Warehouse come back if old stages are going to come back, because that is probably my favourite stage in the series. It is a staple stage, so like the Reef, how we got to play that on the global test fire for Splatoon 2, Walleye Warehouse represents Splatoon 1 really well, and it is a memorable stage for the series in my opinion. I love that stage, and yeah, I really want it to come back. The 7 other stages that I want to come back, I'd rather just these 7 come back, to be honest, because these 7 didn't return in Splatoon 2 from Splatoon 1, so a lot of people haven't experienced these stages, and I did mention this in the video I did make covering this job listing popping up when Splatoon 3 did get revealed back in February. So yeah, if there are going to be old stages returning, then yeah, I would prefer just these 7 to return, and they are Urchin Underpass. I'd rather the old Urchin Underpass come back. I don't really like the newer sort of version of Urchin Underpass. I prefer the older version, although I would take any Urchin Underpass at this stage. I always found it weird, by the way, how Nintendo, out of all of the Splatoon 1 stages they did bring back, they didn't bring back this stage, seeing as it is in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. A lot of people associate Splatoon with that stage, so it made no sense to me how they included that stage within Mario Kart 8 Deluxe but never ported it over to Splatoon 2. So yeah, for me it makes perfect sense to bring back Urchin Underpass for Splatoon 3. It's also important to remember that Urchin Underpass was the very first stage that we saw in Splatoon. In the Splatoon reveal trailer at E3 2014, Urchin Underpass was the stage featured in that trailer, so for that reason alone, that stage definitely deserves to come back in Splatoon 3. Hammerhead Bridge, Museum Alfonsino, Salt Spray Rig, Mahi Mahi Resort, Bluefin Depot, Flounder Heights. I really want Bluefin Depot, I really want Flounder Heights. They definitely deserve to come back in my opinion. So yeah, they are the 11 stages that I want to come back if Nintendo are going to sort of port over old stages from the previous 2 games in the series to Splatoon 3. But I'm going to be honest and say that I would rather see all new stages in this game. But yeah, if I had to narrow it down, then they are the 11 stages that I would want to come back in the 3rd game from Splatoon 2 and Splatoon 1. So yeah, if old stages are going to come back, then I would be fine with those 7 stages returning. But yeah, I would rather see new stages in this game. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you in another video soon.